Listen carefully, because what I'm about to tell you goes against everything you've been taught about relationships. The woman who stops reaching out, who goes silent, who disappears from a man's notifications, she doesn't lose his attention, she captures it completely. While everyone tells you to chase, to pursue, to stay visible, the truth is far more powerful and far more counterintuitive. When you stop contacting a man, you don't fade from his mind. You invade it. And if you stay with me through this entire video, you'll understand exactly why this happens, how it works on a psychological level, and how some women use this truth to create obsession without lifting a finger. But before we go deeper, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you watch until the end, because what you're about to discover could completely transform how men respond to you forever. Absence creates what presence never could. This is one of the most misunderstood dynamics in human attraction, and yet it is also one of the most powerful. Most women believe that staying in constant contact keeps them relevant in a man's mind. They think that if they disappear, he will simply move on, forget them, or find someone else. But the reality operates in the opposite direction. When you are always available, always responding, always there, you become predictable. Predictability is the enemy of fascination. A man's mind does not obsess over what it already has. It obsesses over what it has lost, what it cannot reach, and what has suddenly become uncertain. When you stop contacting a man, you trigger something primal in his psychology. For most of his interactions with you, he has been in control. He reaches out, you respond. He initiates, you engage. This dynamic places him in a position of certainty. He knows where you are. He knows you are interested. He knows that whenever he wants your attention, it is available. But the moment you stop, that certainty shatters. Suddenly, he does not know where you are. He does not know what you are thinking. He does not know if you have moved on or if you are with someone else. That uncertainty creates a vacuum in his mind, and his thoughts rush in to fill it. The male brain is wired to solve problems and to pursue what feels uncertain. From an evolutionary standpoint, men are hunters. They are built to chase what moves away, not to appreciate what stays still. When you are constant, you are still. When you withdraw, you are moving. And the moment you move away, his instinct to pursue activates. This is not manipulation, this is psychology. He may not even realize what is happening. All he knows is that suddenly you are on his mind more than before. He starts checking his phone. He wonders why you have not reached out. He replays your last conversation, trying to figure out what changed. And the longer your silence continues, the stronger this pull becomes. Absence also forces a man to confront what he had taken for granted. When you were present, he could enjoy your attention without thinking about it. He could reply whenever he felt like it, knowing you would still be there. But when you stop, he realizes that your presence was not guaranteed. He begins to ask himself questions. Did I mess up? Is she upset? Has she lost interest? Is she talking to someone else? These questions loop in his mind because there are no answers. And without answers, his brain keeps returning to you, trying to make sense of the silence. This is obsession in its early form. It starts as curiosity, then grows into preoccupation, and eventually becomes fixation. What makes this dynamic even more powerful is that it flips the script on who holds the power. In most early interactions, the man feels he is the prize. He controls the pace. He decides when to text, when to call, when to make plans. But when you stop reaching out, you take that control from him. Now he is the one waiting. He is the one uncertain. He is the one hoping for your attention. This shift changes everything because men are not used to being in that position with women they are genuinely interested in. And when they find themselves there, they do not pull away. They lean in harder. The longer your silence lasts, the more his imagination takes over. Without your presence to ground his perception of you, his mind begins to fill in the gaps. He starts remembering the best moments with you, the best conversations, the best feelings. He forgets the mundane or the frustrating parts. His memory idealizes you because absence creates space for fantasy. You are no longer just the woman he was talking to. You become the woman he might have lost. And that possibility of loss makes you infinitely more valuable in his mind. This is why men often come back stronger after silence than they ever were during constant contact. The silence did not erase you, it magnified you. Many women fear that if they stop contacting a man, he will assume they are not interested and move on. But here is what actually happens. If he was genuinely interested in you, your silence will bother him. It will create discomfort. And that discomfort will drive him to reach out. Men do not let go of women they truly want. They let go of women who chase them too hard, who make themselves too available, who remove all mystery. When you stop, you restore that mystery. You make him wonder again. And wonder is the fuel of desire. It is important to understand that this is not about playing games or being cold. It is about recognizing your own value and refusing to overfunction in a connection. Too many women exhaust themselves trying to keep a man's attention through constant effort. They text first, they initiate plans, they carry the conversation, they do all the emotional labor. And what happens? The man relaxes. He stops trying because he does not have to. You have made it easy. But when you stop, you communicate something powerful. You communicate that your attention is not endless, that your interest is conditional, and that he must earn your presence. This is not cruelty. This is self-respect. And self-respect is magnetic. The psychological principle behind this is called intermittent reinforcement. When something is always available, it loses its reward value. But when something is unpredictable, when it comes and goes, the brain becomes obsessed with obtaining it. This is why gambling is addictive. This is why people stay in toxic relationships longer than healthy ones. The unpredictability creates a craving that consistency never could. When you stop contacting a man after being present, you introduce that unpredictability. He has tasted your attention. He has felt your energy. And now that it is gone, his brain craves it again. He will reach out, not because you asked him to, but because he cannot help himself. Another layer to this is the role of ego. Men have egos, and those egos are deeply tied to their ability to attract and keep the interest of women they desire. When you stop reaching out, his ego takes a hit. He begins to question himself. Why did she stop? Am I not enough? Did I do something wrong? Is she seeing someone else? These questions are uncomfortable, and discomfort demands resolution. The easiest way for him to resolve that discomfort is to contact you, to check in, to see if you are still interested. And when he does, he is now the pursuer. You have reversed the dynamic without saying a single word. Women who understand this principle stop trying to convince men of their worth. They stop over-texting. They stop chasing. They stop being available at all hours. Instead, they focus on their own lives, their own goals, their own happiness. And in doing so, they become exponentially more attractive. Because a woman who is genuinely busy, genuinely fulfilled, and genuinely unbothered by a man's attention is rare. She stands out, she challenges him, she makes him work. And men, despite what they may say, are drawn to women who make them work. Not through drama or manipulation, but through simple, quiet self-possession. This is why the women men obsess over are not the ones who are always there. They are the ones who have boundaries, who have lives outside of the relationship, and who do not bend themselves into pretzels to maintain a man's interest. These women understand that their absence is not a punishment. It is a statement. It says, I have a life. I have priorities, and you are not guaranteed my time simply because you exist. That statement is powerful because it forces a man to decide whether he wants to be part of your life or not. And if he does, he will show up. He will reach out. He will pursue. Men also obsess over women who stop contacting them because silence creates emotional tension. Tension is the opposite of comfort, and comfort is the death of attraction. When you are always available, you provide comfort. He knows he can reach you anytime. There is no tension. But when you stop, tension floods in. He does not know where he stands. He does not know what you are thinking. He does not know if he still has access to you. That tension is uncomfortable, but it is also addictive. It keeps him engaged, keeps him thinking, keeps him coming back to try to resolve it. And the only way to resolve it is to reconnect with you. This principle works even more powerfully when a man was taking you for granted. If he was used to your constant attention, your sudden absence feels like a loss. And loss is one of the strongest motivators in human psychology. People do not appreciate what they have until it is gone. When you are always there, he has you. But when you stop, he realizes he might not have you anymore. That realization shifts his perception instantly. You are no longer the woman who is always available. You are the woman who got away. And men will chase what got away far more intensely than they ever chased what stayed. The beauty of this dynamic is that it requires no effort from you. You are not crafting perfect texts. You are not planning elaborate strategies. You are simply living your life and refusing to center it around a man who has not earned that position. This is not about withholding affection or being cold. it is about having standards. It is about understanding that your time, your energy, and your attention are valuable, and they should be given to people who appreciate them. When you stop contacting a man who was not appreciating you, you create space for him to realize what he was losing. And if he does not realize it, you have lost nothing. You have simply saved yourself time and energy. Another critical point is that silence communicates confidence. A woman who stops reaching out without explanation, without drama, without needing closure, shows a level of self-assurance that most people do not have. She does not need his validation. She does not need to know why he was distant. She simply moves on. That confidence is rare and it stands out. Men notice it, they respect it, and they are drawn to it because a woman who does not need them is a woman they suddenly want. It is also worth noting that this dynamic reveals a man's true intentions. If he was genuinely interested in you, your silence will bring him back. He will reach out. He will ask what happened. He will try to reconnect. But if he was not truly interested, if he was just enjoying your attention without real investment, your silence will be met with his silence. And that tells you everything you need to know. You do not have to wonder. You do not have to guess. His response or lack of response gives you clarity. And clarity is power. This is why women who master the art of strategic absence are never desperate. They do not beg for attention. They do not chase men who are pulling away. They understand that if a man wants them, he will show it. And if he does not, they are perfectly fine moving on. This mindset is liberating because it removes the anxiety that comes from trying to force connection. You are no longer waiting by your phone. You are no longer analyzing every word. You are simply living. And the right man will rise to meet you there. Men also obsess over women who stop contacting them because those women remind them of their own lack of control. Men are used to being in control, especially in the early stages of attraction. They set the pace. They decide when to escalate. They choose when to commit. But when you stop reaching out, you take that control from them. And the loss of control is deeply unsettling. It forces them to confront their own feelings, their own interest, their own investment. And that confrontation often leads to action. They reach out because they want to regain control, to understand what happened, to see if they can pull you back in. But by then, you have already shifted the power dynamic in your favor. This is not about playing hard to get. It is about being hard to get. There is a difference. Playing hard to get is a performance. It is calculated and often transparent. But being hard to get is a natural result of having a full life, strong boundaries, and high standards. You are not pretending to be busy. You are busy. You are not pretending to have options. You have options. You are not pretending to be unbothered. You are genuinely unbothered because you know your worth does not depend on any one man's attention. That authenticity is what makes this so effective. Men can sense when a woman is performing, but they cannot resist a woman who is simply living well. The obsession also grows because your absence creates a void that he tries to fill with thoughts of you. When you were present, he could talk to you, interact with you, and satisfy his curiosity. But when you stop, that outlet is gone. His curiosity remains, but now it has nowhere to go except inward. He wonders where you are, what you are doing, who you are with, what you are thinking. These thoughts loop endlessly because there is no resolution. And the more they loop, the more ingrained you become in his mental space. You are no longer just a person he was talking to. You are a question mark he cannot stop trying to answer. This dynamic also works because it taps into fear of missing out. Men are competitive by nature, and they do not like the idea of losing something valuable, especially to someone else. When you stop contacting a man, his mind immediately goes to the possibility that you have moved on, that you are giving your attention to someone else, that someone else is enjoying what he took for granted. And that fear drives him to act. He does not want to lose you to another man. He does not want to look back and regret not pursuing you harder. So he reaches out, often with more effort and intensity than he ever showed before. Women who understand this principle stop wasting energy on men who are lukewarm. They do not try to convince. They do not over-explain. They do not chase. They simply withdraw their attention and observe. If a man is truly interested, he will notice the shift and respond. If he is not, his lack of response saves you time. Either way, you win. You either gain clarity or you gain his renewed effort. Both outcomes are better than staying in limbo, wondering if he cares while you continue to invest energy into someone who is not reciprocating. The final piece of this puzzle is self-worth. Women who can stop contacting a man without falling apart, without obsessing, without needing immediate validation, are women who know their value. They understand that they bring something rare and valuable to the table, and they are not willing to give it to someone who does not recognize it. That self-worth is the foundation of this entire dynamic. Because if you stop contacting a man out of strategy, but internally you are desperate for him to respond, it will not work. Your energy will betray you. But if you stop because you genuinely believe you deserve better, because you are genuinely focused on your own life, that energy is what creates the obsession. He will feel it. He will sense that you have moved on emotionally, and that will drive him to try to pull you back. In the end, men secretly obsess over women who stop contacting them, because those women represent what all humans crave most: mystery, challenge, value. When you are always available, you remove mystery. When you chase, you remove challenge. When you beg for attention, you lower your perceived value. But when you stop, you restore all three. You become the woman he cannot figure out, the woman he has to work for, the woman he realizes he might lose. And that combination is intoxicating. It does not matter how confident he is, how many options he has, or how much he tried to play it cool. When a woman who was once present suddenly disappears, she becomes the one he cannot stop thinking about. Not because she chased him, but because she stopped. And there you have it, the truth about why men secretly obsess over the women who stop contacting them. It is not about games. It is not about cruelty. It is about understanding human psychology, about valuing yourself enough to walk away when you are not being valued, and about recognizing that your absence can speak louder than your presence ever could. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever stopped contacting someone and watched them come back stronger? Or is this a principle you are just now realizing you need to apply? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because your experience might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. And before you go, make